Salvete omnes. If you'd like to support the channel along with these patrons, there's a link in the description box below. This is the final episode of Perseus' tale. In the last lesson, he succeeded in collecting the head of Medusa as Polydectes had requested, even though this was obviously a task that was supposed to result in the death of Perseus and get him out of the way. Now we will see the king's response after Perseus sails home. Postquam Perseus ad insulam navem apulit, se ad locum contulit ubi mater olim habitaverat, sed domum invenit vacuam et omnino desertam. 3 dies per totam insulam matram quaerebat, tandem quarto die ad templum Dianae pervenit. Huc Danae refugerat, quod polydectem timebat. Perseus, ubi haec cognovit, ira magna commotus est. Ad regiam polydectis sine mora contendit, et ubi eo venit statim in atrium irrupit. Polydectes magno timore affectus est, et fugere volebat. Dum tamen ille fugit, Perseus caput Medusae monstravit. Ille autem simul atque hoc vidit in saxum versus est. Okay, here's the breakdown of these sentences. Postquam Perseus ad insulam navem apulit. Remember, apulit is the past tense form of appelit, which is ad plus pelit, or to push toward. And when we push a boat ashore, we land it. So this is, after Perseus landed the ship on the island, se ad locum contulit ubi mater olim habitaverat. It's hard to recognize, but contulit is the perfect past tense of confert. Fer turns into tul for some of the tenses because two words were combined. So, se contulit means brought himself with, or in smoother English we might say he made his way. Do you recognize the form of habitaverat? It is the pluperfect which we saw in the last lesson. So this means had lived. And remember, olim is how fairy tales start, so we could translate everything as he made his way to the place where his mother had formerly lived. Sed domum invenit vacuam, et omnino desertam. But found the house empty and utterly deserted. Omnino is the adverb form of omnis, so this means wholly or entirely. 3 dies per totam insulam matram quaerebat. Can you see the connection between quaero and inquire? This can also have the extended meaning to seek. So this means, for 3 days he looked for his mother throughout the entire island. Tandem quarto die ad templum Dianae pervenit. Do you remember the difference between tandem and tamen? What do they mean? At length and however. So this means, at length on the 4th day he arrived at the temple of Diana. And did you notice the difference between the two forms of day? We had 3 dies and quarto die. The first is the plural accusative form and the second is the singular ablative. The accusative is for duration and the ablative is for a position in time. Huc Danae refugerat, quod polydectem timebat. If you remember, hinc means from here, so huc means to here. And refugerat is the pluperfect, so we have Danae had fled here because she feared Polydectes. Perseus, ubi haec cognovit, ira magna commotus est. Before you can recognize something, you first have to cognoscere, learn or get to know it. So, when Perseus learned these things, he was greatly moved with anger. Ad regiam polydectis sine mora contendit. When we demur or take a moratorium, we delay. So, sine mora means without delay and is a good phrase to learn. And here, contendit does not mean contend, but hurry. Tendo and extendo mean stretch or extend. If you stretch out your time, you will have to hurry. So we have, he hastens to the palace of Polydectes without delay. Et ubi eo venit statim in atrium irrupit. Eo is both the verb meaning I go and also an adverb meaning to there. So you could say eo, meaning I go there. It seems like this is an abbreviation of eo loco, this place, because this is the same as the ablative form of is ea id. The word irrupit looks somewhat like interrupt, but it's more like intrude or invade. And when he came there, he immediately burst into the court. Polydectes magno timore affectus est, et fugere volebat. Affectus est is the perfect passive form of afficio. To form this tense, we use the participle and the present form of sum. Affectus remains the same. We only need to conjugate sum. And this verb means to have an effect on or afflict. So we have Polydectes was afflicted with great fear and was trying to flee. Ille autem simul atque hoc vidit in saxum versus est. Simul means simultaneous, but simul atque is used with the meaning as soon as. And remember, autem can mean either however or and. Finally, here again we have versus est, which is another example of the perfect passive form. So this final part means, and he, as soon as he saw this, was turned into stone. So I guess the plan of Polydectes backfired on him. Okay, here's the story again. Postquam Perseus ad insulam navem apulit, se ad locum contulit ubi mater olim habitaverat. Sed domum invenit vacuam, et omino desertam. 3 dies per totam insulam matram quaerebat. Tandem quarto die ad templum Dianae pervenit. Huc Danae refugerat, quod Polydectem timebat. Perseus, ubi haec cognovit, ira magna commotus est. Ad regiam Polydectis sine mora contendit, et ubi eo venit statim in atrium irrupit. Polydectes magno timore affectus est, et fugere volebat. Dum tamen ille fugit, Perseus caput Medusae monstravit. Ille autem simul atque hoc vidit in saxum versus est. Hopefully you enjoyed this tale, and if you'd like me to go through more stories like this one, leave a comment below. See you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and if you can, help support the channel on Patreon, where there are audio downloads and transcripts of each dialogue and story. Gratias!